Good morning all of you. In the previous classes we have learnt about the unit 3 topics. Today we will discuss about unit 4, that is optical sources. But before moving to optical sources, that is unit 4, we will try to review unit 3 for around 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. What we have discussed in unit 3? We have discussed about fiber joining, fiber ends joining. So you can join the two fiber ends in two different ways. What is that? One is temporary join and another one is permanent join. Okay, this temporary join can be done using connectors, and permanent join can be done using splicing techniques. Again, the connectors are again two types. One is butt joint connector, another one is expanded beam connector. Okay. Whereas splicing techniques, there are two types of splicing techniques. One is fusion splicing. Okay. Another one is mechanical splicing. Okay. So this mechanical splicing is further divided into V-groove splicing, and another one is elastic tube or tube splicing. When we join two ends of the optical fiber, then there will be a small amount of optical power loss. Okay. So this loss can be calculated using certain empirical relations. Okay. We call it as connector return losses. Okay. But when you join two optical fibers, there may be a chance of misalignment. You have studied about different types of misalignments or losses due to different types of misalignments. What are those? One is lateral misalignment. Okay. Another one is longitudinal misalignment, axial misalignment, gap losses due to mismatch of numerical aperture of two optical fibers. Another one is, what is another one? Losses due to different diameters of optical fiber cores. Okay. So these are all called as lateral misalignment, longitudinal, axial, gap, numerical aperture, diameter, imperfections in the diameter. Okay, these are all lead to optical power losses when you join two optical fiber ends. Okay, we also discussed about different types of misalignments. Okay, for example, misalignment losses in multimode fibers, misalignment losses in single mode fibers. Okay, we also done some problems regarding how to calculate the misalignment loss in multimode fibers, how to calculate the misalignment loss in single mode fibers by considering different types of misalignments. It may be lateral misalignment, it may be longitudinal, it may be axial misalignment. Okay, we considered all these kind of specifications and we have done some problems. Okay, and all these are belonging to unit 3. So we have discussed these topics in unit 3. Okay, so today we go for the next unit that is unit 4. The next chapter, that is optical sources. Can you remember in the unit 1 when we have drawn the optical fiber communication system block diagram? I said one point. There are 3 important blocks in this block diagram. One is optical source, one is optical detector, another one is the channel, that is nothing but optical fiber cable. Okay, so our course, that is optical communication, okay, consists of description about these 3 blocks only. One is optical source, one is optical detector, another one is optical fiber cable. In the unit 1, 2 as well as 3, we discussed about optical fiber cables, optical fibers. Okay, so what is optical fiber? How the construction? Okay, what is how the construction of the optical fiber will be? Okay, so what are the advantages of the optical fiber? What is meant by numerical aperture? What is meant by acceptance angle? There are so many fiber parameters. All the fiber parameters we have discussed, and how an optical fiber is constructed or fabricated. Okay, so what are the materials used for fabricating the optical fiber? Okay, all those we discussed. Okay, so what are the different types of causes for losses in optical fibers, optical power losses in fibers, that is attenuation loss, absorption loss, okay, scattering loss, bending loss. So many types of losses we have discussed. Yes or no? Okay, so all those related to optical fiber. Now today we will discuss about the second important block of the optical fiber communication system, that is optical source. That is optical source. So where this optical source will be, where it is presented in the optical communication system? Yes, is it present in the transmitter part, or is it present in the receiver part? In the transmitter part. So in the transmitter part, optical source is used. Okay, so what is this optical source? What are the optical sources we use in the transmitter part of the optical communication system? Okay, so the principal light sources used for the fiber optic communication applications are, what are those? One is light emitting diodes. Generally in the short we call it as LEDs. The second one is laser diodes. Laser diodes. Generally in short it called as ILDs. ILD means injection laser diode. LED or ILD. LED means light emitting diode. ILD means injection laser diodes. Or you can call it as, these laser diodes, you can call it as heterojunction structure semiconductor diodes, laser diodes. Heterojunction structure semiconductor laser diodes. Okay, so what type of optical sources generally we use in the transmitter part? One is LED, another one is laser diode or ILD. Generally these two types of optical sources are used. Okay, what is heterojunction semiconductor diode? Heterojunction, hetero means different. Okay, so heterojunction consists of two adjoining semiconductor materials with different energy gap or band gap energies. Different band gap energies. Okay, that is what is heterojunction laser diode. Okay, two different band gap energy semiconductor materials are present in the heterojunction laser diode. Okay, what are the advantages of this kind of heterojunction laser diode? Some advantages are listed here. They have adequate output power for a wide range of applications. Second one is their optical power output can be directly modulated by the varying input current to the device. And another advantage is they have high efficiency and their dimensional characteristics are compatible or compliant with the optical fibers. The dimensional characteristics of the lasers are compatible with the, are very good compatible or compliant, very good compliant with the optical fibers. So these are the advantages of generally heterojunction laser diodes. So what is the major difference between LEDs and laser diodes? What is the major difference between LEDs and laser diodes? So here LED is incoherent in nature. Light emitting diode, the light coming from the LED is incoherent in nature, whereas light coming from the laser diode has coherence nature. Okay, so what is this? You can see here the output beam of coherent source is always having high directivity or high directional, whereas the output beam of or output radiation of the incoherent, that is LED source, okay, has broad spectral width. What is this coherence? What is this incoherence? Okay, very simple. I give one example. Okay, there is a room here. In this room, there are so many monkeys. What are those? Monkeys. Okay. So there is a door here. You open the door. When you open the door here, what happens? All the monkeys will be coming outside. I have one question. Will all the monkeys move or go out of the room, okay, in a straight path, means one after the other? Will they go outside? Okay, like we go in a queue. Okay, will they form a queue and go outside, monkeys? No. One monkey immediately go in one direction, another monkey go in the another direction, another monkey jump here. Yes or no? All the monkeys will not move in a queue, will not move in a line. They will be jumping here and there, and they will be moving outside. They go outside the room. This is called as a incoherence. This kind of nature is called as incoherence. Then what is coherence? Take ants. I think in your house, if you put some sugar, so many ants will be coming. They will be moving one after the other. In one direction. You can see they will be moving on the wall in one direction or ground in one direction. This is called coherence nature. I think you have recollected this now. Incoherent and coherent. Okay. Similarly, when you apply the same words to the light, okay, I said LED is incoherent. LED is incoherent, whereas laser is coherent. Okay. That means the photons coming from the LED source, okay, will move in different directions with different frequencies. The photons coming from the LED source will move in different direction with different frequencies. The spectral width of the light coming from the LED is more. Okay. Whereas if you take the laser diode, the light beam coming from the laser diode source consists of photons which move in one direction with same frequency. All the photons move in one direction with same frequency. Okay, like ants. Okay, so similarly the photons coming from the laser source, or present in the laser light, move with same frequency, or move in same direction. So that is the reason laser diode has coherence property. LED source has incoherence property. Okay. Right. So then which type of light we have to choose as an optical source at the transmitting end? Okay. So by keeping the various characteristics of fiber characteristics of optical fiber in our mind, for example, attenuation, group delay, numerical aperture, refractive index, acceptance angle, so many fiber parameters are there, fiber characteristics are there. Keeping all those fiber characteristics or fiber parameters in the mind, we have to select a suitable optical source. Which is compatible with the waveguide. Waveguide means optical fiber. Okay. We have to select a suitable optical source. So what are the optical sources? LED or laser. We have to select LED or laser. Okay. Which is compatible with the particular waveguide, or nothing but here it is fiber. Waveguide or optical fiber. Got it? So what are the fiber parameters? Yes, attenuation, group delay, numerical aperture. I will take another pen. So attenuation, group delay, numerical aperture. Okay. Acceptance angle, refractive index of the core as well as clad, refractive index of the core as well as clad, diameter of the core, diameter of the core, etc. So many fiber parameters. We call all these as attenuation, group delay, all these as fiber parameters. Okay, or fiber characteristics. Okay, so we have to keep all these in our mind. Okay, while constructing the transmitter part of the optical fiber, optical communication system, and we have to select the particular optical source. It may be laser or it may be LED. Okay. So before discussing about the particular optical source, say for example LED, we recollect some basic concepts. Related to the semiconductors. Okay, because LED means light emitting diode, laser diode, all these are diodes. Okay, so when we are speaking about diode, let us recollect some basic concepts related to the diode. For example, energy bands. For example, energy band. What is energy band? The conduction properties of a semiconductor can be explained with the help of energy band diagrams. Yes or no? In the second year, before studying the PN junction diode, you have studied about energy band theory or band theory. Okay. So in order to study the conduction properties of a semiconductor diode, first we have to study about the energy band diagrams. So in a semiconductor, the valence electrons occupy a band of energy levels called as valence band. Okay. So there are two bands. One is valence band, another one is conduction band. When you apply heat or temperature or any form of external energy, okay, to the material, what happens? The electrons present in the valence band will move into the conduction band. If you observe, if you recollect, there is a gap between the valence band and conduction band. Okay, this is called as energy gap. Okay, when the external energy applied is greater than the energy gap between the valence band and the conduction band, then electrons will be moving from valence band to conduction band. We say that the material has conductivity property. We say that material is a good conductor or is conducting. Okay. So in a pure, if it is a pure crystal, okay, if you take a crystal of a material, okay, if it is a pure crystal at low temperatures, okay, the conduction band is completely empty. The conduction band is completely empty and valence band is completely full of electrons, carriers. Okay, valence band completely full of carriers or electrons. So in a pure crystal at low temperatures there is no conductivity. We say there is no conductivity. Okay. So these two bands are separated by an, as I said, energy gap or a band gap in which there are no energy levels exist. Okay. So if you observe, I can draw the diagram also. Okay. So yes, I can draw the diagram also. So valence band, conduction band, okay, electrons, okay, this is what is the energy gap. I hope you are able to recollect these diagrams. Okay. So when the external energy applied is more than the energy of this energy gap, then electrons will be moving from valence band to conduction band. Okay. So in order to understand the functionality of the laser diode or light emitting diode, okay, so the functionality of these two types of optical sources are explained using energy band diagrams. That is the reason I have recollected the energy band theory once again. So what this energy band theory states? Come on, tell me. It consists of energy band, consists of two bands. One is valence band, another one is conduction band. Both are separated by an energy gap. Okay, at low temperatures, electrons will not travel from valence band to conduction band. So you cannot say that it is. You can't say that particular material is conducting. Okay, so when you apply the temperature or some voltage or heat, some energy externally, which is more than the gap between the gap energy between the two bands, then the electrons will be moving from valence band to conduction band. Okay, right. So what we have discussed today, let us summarize. So we started the unit 4. Topic is optical sources. Okay, name of the unit, so unit 4 is optical sources. Okay, so optical source is used in transmitter of the optical communication system. Okay, so optical sources, two types are there. One is light emitting diode, simply in shortcut we call it as LED, and another one is laser diode, or in short you call it as injection laser diode, you call it as, in short you call it as ILD. Okay, these heterojunction laser diodes have certain advantages. What are those? They have adequate power for the application of, for so many applications, used in so many applications. Their optical power can be directly modulated with varying currents. Next, they have high efficiency, and their dimensionally, the beam dimensional characteristics are more suitable to the fiber parameters. What is the difference between LED and laser? LED is incoherent in nature, whereas laser diode is coherent in nature. Okay, coherent means if it is coherent means what we say? Coherence means all the photons will be moving in one direction with same frequency. Incoherent means all the photons of the light move in different directions in different frequencies. Okay. Some examples we have discussed to understand well about the incoherent and coherent property. So by keeping certain fiber parameters in our mind, what are the fiber parameters? Numerical aperture, attenuation, group delay, core refractive index, clad refractive index, diameter of the core, all those are called as fiber parameters. So keeping those fiber parameters, or considering the fiber parameters, we have to select a particular optical source. It may be LED or it may be laser. Okay, we have to check the compatibility of the source, optical source, with the fiber by keeping the fiber parameters in our mind. Next one is energy bands. In order to understand the functionality or operation of the LED or laser diode, whatever the optical source it may be, basic a recap of energy bands is required. Okay, energy band means it helps in knowing the conduction properties of a semiconductor. Okay, so there are two types of bands. One is valence band, another one is conduction band. So the electrons present in the valence band can move into the conduction band when external energy is applied, which is greater than the energy gap present between the bands. Okay, so this is what we have discussed till now, and in the next class we will try to discuss about the optical source, that is LED, light emitting diode. Okay, thank you very much.